Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I enjoy helping people who are successful but who want to change career. Well, here are three such people and suggestions I offered. These are paraphrases, of course, and have changed irrelevant details to protect my client's anonymity. First is a college president, and he says something like, I've had it. I've had it with having to sell what I don't really believe in anymore, to donors, to the government, to prospective students, and herding the cats that are the faculty. I have the money now, and so I want out and want nothing to do with education anymore. No, I'm not going back to being a civil engineering professor or any other kind of teacher. I'm thinking of simple self-employment or working for someone on a job where I don't feel ethically compromised. Here was my response. Might any of the following appeal? Inventing something, maybe a tool for civil engineers. Being a museum preparator who creates foundations and lighting for exhibits, and clever boxing for moving them. Buying a home to rehab. Managing or owning a store that sells to civil engineers, even becoming a manager at Home Depot. Managing or owning a bookstore and or a cafe. Becoming a spokesperson for something you believe in. College presidents have lots of credibility. Writing an expose on education or writing your memoir. Or coaching other educators who want out. The second successful person I want to tell you about is a concert pianist, and here is a paraphrase of what he said. All the work I did to get to the top tier doesn't feel worth it. Endless hours of monotonous practice from when I was 6 years old, and all the travel, and all the anxiety before and even during a performance. If I make just one note mistake, and that's all the audience is going to remember. And after all that work, it's hard to claim that I'm substantially different, let alone better than my fellow pianists. Sure, the audience applauds, but they do that for even crummy pianists, as much in support of the dying art of classical music as for me. I'm done. I'm grateful that I'm one of the few pianists who's made plenty of money at it. I want to use my money to do something new, completely new, outside of music, but I don't know what. Here was my response, again paraphrase. Classical music have three attributes that might provide a clue for what you would do. Discipline. Might you want to go back to school for something, or learn a craft that takes years to master, from watchmaking to magician? Performing. Have you considered forms of performing that aren't as obvious as musician or magician, for example, salesperson, or its nonprofit analog fundraiser? Might you want to do that for an arts organization? Arts nonprofit, that is, like whether it be music or art or theater or a museum. And classical musicians are about tradition. Classical music is traditional. Do you value tradition in, for example, architecture, politics, religion, classic cars, or clothing? Does any of that suggest something you might do? For example, be a marketer or a lobbyist for historical preservation projects. Run for office on a traditionalist platform. Become a cleric, work for or own a traditional clothing store, or become a manufacturer's rep for one. The third successful person I want to tell you about is a marijuana farmer. And he said something like, I was never in it for the money. I was never in it because I liked weed. I liked the money, which was great for a while. But then the government started cracking down. My workers stole a good percentage of what they grew. And then big corporations took over, so the price of weed came down and I couldn't compete. I need to get out, actually out of farming completely, but I don't know to what. What am I going to put on my resume? Dope farmer? And here is a paraphrase of what I said. In running a farm, you're running a manufacturing business. Would you like to run some other sort of manufacturing operation? For example, if you want to be on trend, you might, for example, focus on some eco-product, whether in making or importing components for electric vehicles, solar farms, or wind turbines. If, like most farmers, you like being outdoors, staying on that environmental theme, how about becoming a wind turbine or solar farm installer, or a service technician, or run such a business? You've also had to learn a lot about farm-related businesses. Do you want to get into the agricultural irrigation, fertilization, fumigation, trucking, or personnel recruitment? Of course, it is not easy to change careers. You usually need significant training, and then need to convince an employer to hire you, a newbie, over more experienced people. And you usually need to take a pay cut. But even many successful people feel they need to make a radical change. I'm hoping that the examples here might provide you with some inspiration. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.